man.
Let me give you some trash talk, okay?
Come on, man.
Jesus Christ, I met some dumb bastards in my time, but you outdo them all.
Come on, man.
Oh, short son of a bitch.
Come on, man.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Come on, man.
You've got to get mad. You've got to get mad. You've got to get mad.
Fuck Biden, they gon' try to censor this one, yeah. Fuck Biden, stop whispering in little kids' ears. Fuck Biden, he been making this shit worse all year. Fuck Biden, he don't love America and it's clear. What's worse than a liar, than a cheater, than a thief? Look it up, there's proof that he's all three. Fuck Biden, you soft, you making us look weak. Fuck Biden, always looking like a pedophile creep. Holy shit, the Taliban just took over Afghanistan days after Biden pulled the troops. He working for the riches and the Clintons, I don't get it, what's the mission? He a bitch, so he won't never tell the truth. Nah, we ain't get the decision. Liberals had that shit rigged and they was switching the votes and hacking up in the Dominion. Need to take him out the White House and throw him in prison where he belongs, in a cold cell city. Gotta call it how it is, dawg. This man is an idiot. He can't even form a sentence, dawg. This man is illiterate. We get fucked and stuck with Kamala, we get rid of it. What the hell of a predicament. And every time I'm scrolling, see his post, it ain't nothing but trolling. America ain't fucking with this guy, that's a fact and he know it. Middle fingers up, here's the way we feel about you, Joey. Fuck Biden, they gon' try to censor this one, yeah. Fuck Biden, stop whispering in little kids' ears. Fuck Biden, he been making this shit worse all year. Fuck Biden, he don't love America and it's clear.
Hi-yow! Info Ninja. Welcome back, baby, welcome back. It feels so good to be back, to be deep inside you, inside your ears, okay, you sickos, inside your ears. I'm excited. I feel like there's a little bit of hope out there, folks, and that's a good feeling because we get so much crap. There's so many bad things in the news, and I love when I see good stuff happening, and I mean good stuff that may appear as like not exactly happy stuff, but it's a good thing that it's happening. Let's say that. I love when there's a little bit of hope. And this really means that we have people that aren't completely in the matrix and some people that have been out of the matrix for quite a while, like myself. And we're seeing how absurd it is. But those people, the ones that are on kind of the fringe of the matrix, because when you're inside the matrix, you don't know you're inside the matrix. And you really, all this stuff is the truth just bounces off of you. But essentially, the people that are on the fringe are starting to look at all this and go, this is absurd. This is ridiculous. Really? Is this really happening? And we're seeing people, it's almost becoming punk rock to not go with the radical left. It's almost becoming punk rock to not be progressive. And when you say things like progressive, they love to tie identity into that. They love to say, if you're anti-progressive, then you're anti, us moving forward and you hate minorities and homosexuals. And no, we're tired of the dumb shit. The stuff that doesn't make any sense at all. Logic still has to play a role in our lives. Then everything will be okay. I can do my thing in my space. You do your thing in your space. In your space, okay? And we're going to get along just fine. I'm not saying segregation. I'm just saying don't let your lifestyle change my lifestyle. If I don't pay for what you're doing, I'm not going to make you pay for what I'm doing. And let's just be free Americans and let's love each other as God's children. So essentially, it's becoming punk rock to not be with the radical lefts. We could say progressives, but we're talking about most of the radical lefts that are out there. There's probably a few like your Tulsi Gabbards on the Democrats, on the liberal side of things, that are solid folks. They've just got a little bit of different ideas about things, but I think we probably agree with way more things than we disagree about with those type of folks. And when I say we, I mean those that are not plugged into the matrix, because if you're listening to this show, there's no damn way that you are plugged into the matrix. And I'm so proud of you for being here. But I love this stuff, folks. I love this hope that's coming here. This may be what I love most, and that's not true. What I love most in the world is God, followed by my family, and then Irish whiskey. Yeah. But this is great, folks. This is fantastic. This new trend. For one, it hasn't been deleted yet, so I shouldn't say, for one, social media did something good. This may only be short term, but it's been kind of going on and it's making its way to us via social media because they are cutting the audio. They're not even having the background audio on anymore. at sporting events. And this is happening at live concerts too. So you got the musician up on stage, and let's say he takes that, you know how sometimes, if you like jam bands, they're going to jam from one song to the next. And then some bands, they kind of stop. They give it a good 10 seconds, like, hey, thanks for coming, y'all. And then boom, they're back into it. Every once in a while, they take that 30-second break where they're like, oh man, we got to change guitars or whatever. And when that happens, that's when this chant starts. It's great. Live sporting events, these concerts, it's happening. And the chant is, fuck Joe Biden. Pardon my French. I'm reporting the news here, okay? I don't want to use that word. This is a family show. But yeah, that chant starts at these events, and it's quite hysterical. Don't take my word for it.
You're like, oh shit. Hide the beer.
Fuck Joe Biden! 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 Fuck Joe Biden!
That guy, that guy, if you watch the people's faces, they're all smiling and having a good time with it. But that guy, I could only imagine him being scared out. Joe Biden, Joe, can someone please put my shoes on for me? Biden, he's got to be scared out of his mind of throwing the first pitch out anywhere because he's going to get it badly. But yeah, they're pretty much cutting the live feeds or the audio feeds at our favorite sporting events because this is happening all over the place, and it's happening at concerts. Obviously, those aren't on TV. So if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't be seeing a lot of this, but it's pretty funny. So you can get on YouTube and you could see it until they delete it. It'll be around for a while, who knows. But yeah, it's kind of funny. It brings me hope that we're all coming together. It took us major bad things to come together in the past, the 9/11 happens and we all came together, and any kind of tragedy basically happens and we come together as Americans. And this is great to see us coming over essentially another tragedy. Joe, he's going to smell your daughter's hair. Biden is one of the worst presidents of all time. You've got your Calvin Coolidge's out there, your Woodrow Wilsons, and in his first year, Joe Biden has kind of like matched them. It's crazy. Give it more time. Give it more time. And don't forget, folks, you may be going, okay, well, he might not make the whole 4 years. He's old. I get it. But look who takes over for him. Come on, you Harris. Come on, you hides evidence and keeps people on death row Harris. No, we don't want that either. So we need to come up with some kind of alternative. And I'm not saying an alternative person. I mean, obviously, there's going to be another election. I'm just saying there's got to be a better way of making America saving America, essentially, at this point, than relying on the fact that Joe definitely has dementia. Biden is going to pass away. God forbid. We don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. But this trend is fucking great. Pardon my French. Okay, that one I threw in. That was not reporting. That was a personal thing. I should apologize for that. And I will. You see, that was the politician apology. You don't actually say the words, I apologize or I'm sorry. You just say, I should apologize. But you never actually do it. And speaking of apologizing, I'm probably going to have to apologize to you a second time, not because I'm going to curse, but because of what's going to happen in this next video. So sit down. If you're driving, pull over. Okay, I don't want anything bad to happen here. Don't be scared. Don't be scared, though. You need to hear it. And you know what? Hold your anger. Hold your anger until the end. Okay? I'm bravehearting you. The scene where like the horses are coming and there's William Wallace, Mel Gibson, sitting in the line. He's going, hold. I've always wanted to be in that situation where I can just have a bunch of badasses behind me and I'm going, hold, go. That's probably not a great situation to be in unless I'm in a movie. But that's a badass scene, and that's what I'm telling you. Hold your anger until the end of this video.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for allowing me this time to speak to you today, but unfortunately the subject that I have to speak about is very traumatic and personal to me. With the new abortion legislation brought forth by the Texas Supreme Court allowing the heartbeat bill and limiting abortions to 6 weeks is incredibly unconstitutional. Bill Gates' father, William Gates Sr., would be so disappointed in his son for letting this bill pass, considering Gates' family involvement in starting Planned Parenthood with Margaret Sanger. Currently, I'm in a situation where I have 3 different birthing people pregnant at the same time, and I would like for all of them to have abortions, but unfortunately with this new heartbeat bill, we're unable to get the usual abortions that we often get. I don't like to use any contraception whatsoever because it hinders my performance, so that's why I depend on abortions as a 100% effective form of birth control. But now that the state is making it almost impossible for birthing people to even get an abortion, I'm going to be forced to change my entire lifestyle. Roe versus Wade made it very clear that abortions are completely legal, and I wish Dallas would take a page out of New York's rule book and approve late-term abortion up to 6 hours after birth, because this would solve a lot of problems for expected parents that don't want to have the financial obligation of raising a child that they didn't plan for with money that they don't have. And although I'm perfectly capable of financially supporting a young child, and I know that I would get crazy amount of likes and comments on my TikTok and Instagram accounts from all the cool baby photos, and I can post them in Armani and Gucci baby gear, and it's very easy for me to find birthing people that want me to leave my seed inside them, but unfortunately I don't have the time or the ability to change my vacations to Cabo San Lucas in Jamaica, because those are non-refundable flights. And I travel to many other international destinations on a regular basis because my social media influence on Instagram is similar to that of Dan Bilzerian or Chrissy Teigen's. But sadly, with multiple children, this can hinder my ability to travel, and I know this may sound a little selfish, but my doctor and psychiatrist both prescribed me an eat, pray, love lifestyle ever since my first ex-wife and her new fiance died in a fire at our old lake house that she received in the divorce settlement. My two transgender children from the divorce, Decca and Alex, who are both on puberty blockers, were just surrendered to Child Protective Services until I can get my drunk driving problem behind me, because I recently got a DWI outside of the Olive Garden on Technology Boulevard after the all-you-can-eat pasta promotion they have. But regardless of all the Pinot Grigio and fettuccine Alfredo, I sit here in front of the mayor and city council begging that you use some of the budgetary funds to hire attorneys and file a lawsuit against Governor Abbott, just like you're suing for the mask mandate laws that are currently in place by the governor. Please do something to reverse this unjust, unconstitutional abortion ban so that I can go back to raw dogging birthing people that I meet outside of Arby's and drug rehabilitation centers. And if you're watching this online and you want to smoke Swisher Sweets later and chill with me, hit my Instagram, PrimeTimeStein, all one word, and my Twitter, Alex999. My picture is Greta Thunberg wearing a mask, and my bio says, "Free the nipple." Thank you, Mayor Johnson. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Did you think it was real? A lot of people thought it was real. He was trolling. That was the Dallas City Council meeting. And that's hysterical. And that's more of that hope that I'm talking about, folks. This is a guy who, by all means, could have been, on the left, or could have been, neutral, whatever it is. But he is playing to how absurd millennials are. The whiny baby culture, the idea of, not just the heartbeat law, but the idea of AOC crying at everything she goes to if she doesn't get her way or whatever it may be. He was just being a millennial, and it was hysterical. This guy deserves an Academy Award. I thought you needed to hear that. That's something that's probably not going to get to your ears, most likely. Hopefully that goes viral. That's really funny, but I have a really good feeling that that's not going to go viral unless you make it viral. So share that. I mean, even if you tell people, hey, listen to the new Info Ninja, ha-chow! Great idea. But if you need to skip ahead, here's the time frame. Let them hear that. It's just a really cool thing. I couldn't find it online very easily, though, so you're going to have to dig a little bit. But it was the Dallas City Council meeting. He got his 2 minutes to speak. And congratulations, sir. If there was an Academy Award for council meetings, and we've had a lot of videos from council meetings and school board meetings lately, this guy gets the Best Actor Award. Fantastic job. He just live trolled. Awesome. Now here comes the reason for tonight's podcast. Oh, all that stuff before was great. I had a lot of fun. That's fantastic. But this is the real reason that this show had to go on. When a big story happens and the national media, for the most part, doesn't pick it up and run with it. So you're not seeing it on TV. It might be in print a few places, but you're not seeing it on TV. When that happens, I tend to wait. I want to see it if people pick it up and run all over with it. It also gives me time to kind of digest and look at it and see, different angles. And is this actually a story? And like I said, in the last podcast, there's two reasons that a story doesn't get out there. It either is completely bullshit and there's nothing there whatsoever, okay? And you got to think, by the idea of there's nothing there, almost anything can be newsworthy today. And I'm going to make a good point about that in a second, hopefully a good point. about that here in a second. But it either is not a story or it doesn't go with the narrative. It goes against the narrative or it doesn't go with the narrative. Well, this next story, I don't know. It goes against many narratives. It goes against many things. And it definitely should have been major news. Remember the Hunter Biden laptop? Should have been a major press conference and nobody covered it. Do you remember the Project Veritas leaks that I played for you in the last podcast? Should have been a major story. It's not really yet. I think in the future it's going to be more important. But yeah, that story is not major news being covered by everyone right now. And this one surprises me the most. This is huge. So I'm going to throw a scenario at you real quick here and just open your mind to this one and say, how would things react? Because we know how the crazy media operates. So here's the situation for you. An insider deep inside, okay, the Trump organization has come forth with, it's not exactly evidence, okay? This person's word is very reliable. They have been reliable in the past, okay? They clearly have an issue with Donald Trump. So there could be some bias there. They are not fans of Donald Trump. They were once deep inside his organization, and now they're no longer a part of it. But they don't claim to have any evidence, but they claim to have let the U.S. government know about it way before it became an issue. And they claim to have insider knowledge that Donald Trump was completely orchestrated in the creation and intentional release of the big vid. That's right, baby. The vid came from Donald Trump. We don't know that for sure. We don't have evidence, okay? But we have an insider that knew him very well, and that's documented, okay? And this person has come forth and said that Donald Trump, he was orchestrated in this. He obviously didn't create it himself in a lab. He's not a scientist, but he created the vid and then released it intentionally. There's no evidence, but this person, there's definitely reason to believe them beyond just any Joe Blow off the street. Now, let me just say this. That didn't happen. But think about that. Think about that story if that broke in one little paper or a little, tweet about it. It would be everywhere. Everybody would be talking about it. You're talking about every single Twitter feed, every single video, every single paper covered with this. It's absolutely everywhere. And there wasn't a shred of evidence the entire time. I think we can all, as reasonable people, agree that yes, that would be a major story. Now I'm going to give you something that broke last week. Something that you haven't heard about, most likely, unless you're paying attention. I saw very little media coverage, a little more in print than anything else, but nobody picked it up and ran with it. Or it got dumped, like they touched it for a second and never came back to it. I had to find this via DuckDuckGo, but to be honest, that's how I started. I don't even go through Google most of the time anymore. I started on DuckDuckGo, and I found an article about it in the New York Post. Headline, China's most famous defector to America. So this is someone that was in China and left and became an American, got away, defected to the United States. China's most famous defector to America warned U.S. intelligence agencies of coronavirus in 2019. Wei Jingsheng, I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong, but he's Wei Xingzhen, that's W-E-I, and then J-I-N-G-S-H-E-N-G. Wang Xingzhen, father of China's democracy movement, reveals in a new book what really happened in Wuhan, that he first heard of a mysterious new virus at the time of the World Military Games in Wuhan in October of 2019. So, highly alarmed, the former Chinese Communist Party insider, whose defection to the United States in 1997 made global news, alerted intelligence agencies and a U.S. politician with links to the president and Chinese human rights activist Dimon Liu. Okay, whatever. When asked if he had any sense the intelligence agencies were taking seriously his intelligence about a new virus in Wuhan, 70-year-old Wei said, "I felt they were not as heavily concerned as I was, so I tried my best to provide more detailed information. They may not believe there is a government of a country that would do something like that, covering up a virus, so I kept repeating myself in an effort to try to persuade them." I'm sorry, I'm not trying to mispronounce this guy's name, I just don't know Mandarin. We said that he was very worried because whichever way the communist regime released the virus, I felt that the West is not prepared. Now, this guy, okay, he spent 18 years in a Chinese prison, okay, and he was able to get out of there and come back to the United States. He was like the most famous, like, anti-communist person over there. They tossed him in prison, he got out, and he's continued since the 90s to run the Chinese democracy movement. He wants to bring freedom and democracy to China, okay? He's tired of communism and what it's doing to his people and the families and the country. He hates it and he got out, okay? That used to be something that we were proud of and we wanted those folks here and we would hold them up as, hey, everybody else in the world, look here. He came from shit and he likes it here. Do it in your country. What a better world we would have. We used to be proud of that. And if a guy like this would say something like that, it would definitely be worth talking about. Because essentially what he just said was the World Military Games, where everybody from all these countries gets together and plays army games, the Chinese may or may not have released a weaponized coronavirus at that point. Now, I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying that that's true at all, that there's even any evidence of that. I'm saying this guy, with his connections and who he is, has said that he talked to our intelligence agencies and said, hey, this may or may not have happened. Now, we can talk about how the government should have reacted and what they should have done or what they didn't do or whatever it is. What I'm saying is that this is at least a story worth talking about, right? This is something we want to talk about. But maybe the reason the media isn't talking about this, maybe the reason that it's not all over the place is because the Chinese own the media. They own entertainment. They own all of it. So, folks, this is what scares me, though, is that this story should be everywhere. And it's not. They're not even talking about it. But if it was Donald Trump or if it was a Republican, you bet you'd know about it. We had advanced knowledge, potentially had advanced knowledge of corona before it happened. What does that smell like to you? Do you remember being told that our government had advanced knowledge of some planes that were going to fly into something in this country? Yeah, it kind of smells like 9/11-ish, doesn't it? This deserves at least someone talking about it. So please, maybe share this part of the podcast. Maybe just look it up yourself. Take the time to find the New York Post article. Do a little research on this. This guy's legitimate. Yeah, they're going to try to anti-fact check him. He's got no evidence. Well, okay, maybe he can get some evidence. You never know, but this guy's definitely connected. You loved him before he said this, right? Yeah, check this out for yourself and share it. See if your social media gets shut down for sharing the truth. Yeah, it's this guy saying he has no proof, but this is what he was told and this is what he told our government. Well, if there's documentation of him telling the government, then at least we can prove that part of his story. But we got to care to do that. The thing I can't get past is if you're a government like China or any government that's releasing a weaponized virus, if it's going to be a global pandemic, it's going to make your way back to your country. You may release it in South Africa, but it's going to make its way to Germany. It's going to come back wherever you're at if it's a global pandemic, unless you completely shut down any kind of travel. But even at that point, it can mutate. It can get airborne. I mean, doing a virus doesn't make a lot of sense unless you've got the antidote. if there's a proven antidote that you can take and you're immune to this, or if you get sick, you can take it and you survive, no problem, whatever it is, then maybe, if you want to really control the population of your own country, you can just vaccinate the people that you want to vaccinate with your antidote. It's not even a vaccination at that point. And then, yeah, maybe you could, release a virus like that, and that could do that. That takes some sick assholes to do that kind of shit, and they'll get what's coming to them if that's the case. But yeah, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm not saying even think that. I'm just saying it's worth looking into what this guy said. It's worth it at least being a story. Kind of makes you realize they don't really care to hide it anymore. They're not trying to play shadow games. They're pretty brazen. They think that everybody's kind of on their team, and that's really not the case. There's more of us out there, as we can see in the fuck Joe Biden. That's part of reporting. That F word was part of reporting. Those rant videos, we're starting to realize there's more people out there that are on the team than aren't. Maybe a lot of people are getting pulled out of the matrix because of how absurd it's getting in there right now. Man, that kind of feels like hope. So speaking of antidotes, I was thinking, what's the real antidote of this situation? How do we actually get ourselves out of this? And I'm not saying like a vaccine for corona. I'm saying a social antidote. And then it hit me. Freedom, baby. Besides Jesus, freedom is the most popular thing we've ever known. So we all need a big shot of freedom. And hey, a shot of Irish whiskey won't hurt either. Hi-yow! Info Ninja.
Fuck Biden, you soft, you making us look weak. Fuck Biden, always looking like a pedophile creep. Fuck Biden, I do not accept, I do not respect. Like who would protect your whole administration? Haven't you heard? There's evidence out that you do not deserve to be president. We hate this. Could be a Sleepy Joe cheated part 2 up in the ass like yeah. This could be a Sleepy Joe cheated part 2, but I'd rather say fuck Biden, fingers in the air. Hey, bring that ass here, boy. I ain't done with you. Replacing you with the 45th is all that we wanna do. Waving Trump one and fuck Biden flags in front of you. Meaning Trump was number 1 and you was number 2. Look at this fucking dude. Do your damn job. Fix a fucking pothole or something. What's the damn problem? You too busy trying to be a socialist, and I don't even think these people understand how close he is. What we say? Fuck Biden. They gon' try to censor this one, yeah. Fuck Biden. Stop whispering in little kids' ears. Fuck Biden. He been making this shit worse all year. Fuck Biden. He don't love America, and it's clear. What's worse than a liar, than a cheater, than a thief? Look it up. There's proof that he's all three. Fuck Biden. You soft. You making us look weak. Fuck Biden. Always looking like a pedophile creep. Fuck Biden.